Colleagues, good afternoon. My name is Igor Reshetnikov. I am the head of the Russian local center. We are the key competence point for operational production management systems. For more than 12 years we have been engaged in auditing, design, implementation and everything related to production management and the operational management system of MES class production. During this time, truly colossal experience has been accumulated. A lot has become clear, something that we did not understand 12 years ago. We figured out the reasons for success and failure. Different projects, we began to understand when which company needs what for what and why and. We have collected this experience, so that it will not be wasted, in a small book called MES. Strategic Initiative, which I want to tell you a little about today. This book is a story about how to make an MES class system, an operational production management system, and the production management process in general, turned into your competitive advantage, and so that it helps make your enterprise better, faster and more productive than its competitors. To the consultants of this book is Karl Schneebor. He was vice president of the European division of the MES Association for more than 10 years. Therefore, not only Russian, but global experience is truly collected here. But it is completely adapted to our Russian realities. Therefore, the book can be taken, read, and used. Let's go through the book tour a little. The first chapter is called Management and Information. She talks about what metrics are, what indicators are, how they are connected, how to build them correctly, what is an indicator of efficiency, what is an indicator of a process. Confusion in these concepts often leads to the fact that to build a normally functioning system according to production management is impossible, because all indicators are not related to each other, all indicators are used incorrectly. Accordingly, if there are no correct indicators, then there is no correctly built management structure. The following describes what management is as an information flow. We live in the information age. If we have information, if it is correctly structured, if it is correctly organized, then we can receive this information, use it correctly and turn it directly into a management process, which is what can be done. Then there is a conversation about what production information management systems are and what they serve. The story is told from the point of view of it is the needs of the enterprise, and not from the point of view of a salesperson who is trying to sell you a specific system. Believe me, these are completely different things. It is still useful for them to understand what an enterprise needs from information management systems and how they should develop. This is not a static thing that we once built and made, it also develops. It can be like a tool. Development and a tool that will bankrupt your company. Such examples, alas, also exist. Next, we need to understand where the role of MEC is in this entire infrastructure. Here, too, it cannot be said that the MEC has a clearly defined place. Rather, it must be said that depending on the degree of development of the enterprise, the role of the MEC changes. Initially, from a system that controls at the lower level, it becomes a system that ensures corporate stability. How this happens is described in this book, why it is so. Well, a very important point, why everything falls apart, well, if not all, then many failed projects, this is the fact that no one takes into account such a concept as the psychology of change. We are completely breaking the system. We are moving from one management model to another, while we assume that simply by order, people will accept all this and begin to do so. No, that doesn't happen. We need to be very careful about this and pay special attention to it. Everything that has been told now is the first chapter of our book. The second chapter describes the operational management system for MES production. MES stands for Manufacturing Execution Systems. Operational Production Management System from a management perspective. What do these systems give to managers? What do they give to managers at all levels of management? It discusses what a goal is and what methods are used to achieve them. This also emerged from practice, because audits of many enterprises showed that no one understands what they are really doing. There are no clearly defined tasks, no clearly formulated methods for achieving results. The output is not exactly what we wanted, then we need to understand how our strategy and operational management are connected. The thing is not at all obvious. Honestly, I'll tell you, but it actually exists until this connection is formed in the head and in the company's regulatory documents. It is almost impossible to build a high-quality management system that will develop for many years, ensuring strategic stability and development of the company. Next, we need to consider all operational control systems as a whole, because we must understand that the MES system is only one link in the chain. The chain breaks where the thinnest link is, so make a powerful MES system, despite the fact that other systems, logistics systems, transport systems are lagging behind. Warehouse accounting system, laboratory control, analysis, quality control, and so on. It is completely meaningless. Development must proceed in a balanced manner. Next, we need to understand what metrics, what tasks and goals we have for the operational management process. They also change, they are dynamic. First they are alone, then others, then others. This dynamic must be strictly observed. A small mistake, an attempt at the initial stage of development to focus on those metrics and indicators that should already be established. In adulthood, the enterprise will definitely lead to the inglorious failure of the project. Therefore, it is discussed here from this point of view. Next, you need to understand what a complex of operational management systems is and how to build it correctly. All operational management systems work, on the one hand, seemingly on the same task, but they work on different processes. If we do them separately, we will end up with several systems, each of which will pull the blanket on itself. If we put all this into one big system at once, we will get an incredibly complex monster that will be uncontrollable. How to solve this problem, how to resolve this tangle? This is how the second chapter about the management perspective of the operational production management system ends. The third chapter defines the functional perspective. What does the MES system do? Who does it do it for? How does it do it and why? First of all, the question of how corporate processes and the operational production management system are connected is discussed. The functional model of MES is considered. Many have heard and read about the functional models of MES, for example, the MES Association, and they have argued a lot about what 8 functions, 11 functions, 10 functions are. All these disputes are completely pointless, and why? Read, everything about this is clearly written. The executive tasks of the MES are discussed next. What does MES do from a control point of view, from a monitoring point of view, from a management point of view? Next, a very important issue is considered. This is the systemic landscape of the MES system. You need to understand that the MES system is just a tool. It is a kind of software and hardware complex that must be built correctly. If we build it incorrectly, with a skew, we will get either a deficiency or an excess. Excess is unnecessary spending, and this system will drag us down. Disadvantage: this will be a weak point in the management process. The system landscape, including the integration landscape, is a very important aspect. Operational production management systems. How to build it correctly is described in this book. And, of course, the main thing we all want from our enterprise is efficiency, effectiveness. Do you hear, when you talk? We want to improve production efficiency, we want to increase production efficiency of our production processes. We want to increase the efficiency of this, that, and that, while the very concept of efficiency turns out to be a little behind the scenes. The book also discusses the question of what efficiency is and how it relates to MES. What kind of efficiency is there, how to measure it correctly and at what stage, what can be considered according to efficiency criteria, and how to determine the process with the effectiveness of technology implementation. Have we achieved our goals or not? A very important and interesting question that needs to be addressed. The fourth chapter is probably the most interesting, maybe even with it, and it's worth starting. It's called very simply a conspiracy theory. Why? Because there are a lot of MES projects, they seem to be going, but they don't get anywhere. Why are they starting to look for people everywhere to blame for this? That we took the wrong system, we chose the wrong contractor, and so on, and so on, and so on. Everything is much simpler, and the reasons mostly in 90% of cases lie not in the performers, but in the company that is implementing this, not because they don't want it, but because in the very organization of the process it was initially laid down, for various reasons, that the process turns out to be ineffective. How to avoid such circumstances? This is a very important aspect of the entire implementation procedure. That's why the fourth chapter is in such a half-joking form. It covers all typical situations, all typical mistakes, and is designed for you to look at these analogies, read them, project them onto your enterprise, and still start your process so that, at least, these mistakes do not play a role in us and prevent us from achieving success. And these errors that are described here, and the typical situations that actually arise, are the reason for the failure of projects in about 80% of cases. Therefore, this chapter must also be read. The book covers virtually the entire amount of information that you need to know and understand regarding the implementation of a production operational management system. The book is aimed at senior and middle managers and management personnel. It is very short, only about 300 pages. Small format book. It is very easily written, there is no technical information in the book, everything is done at the level of qualitative dependencies, at the level of graphs, tables, diagrams that allow you to understand what is happening. Will be if, what will be if we do so, what will be if we do so, what will be if we do so, why should we do so, and most importantly, what we can expect from how the process will proceed. Because very often they expect one thing, get another, and that's where it all ends. The book says a lot about what the real effect will be if you choose one or another development, implementation, or construction strategy. And vice versa, what happens if we do this, and if you see that the effect follows one of the curves, this means that the same scenario played out for you. And then you need to read what needs to be done to prevent this from working. We have a training seminar based on this book. which is called MEC as a Strategic Initiative for Corporate Growth. The seminar is held in a corporate format and is aimed at the management of companies and large corporations. The seminar is read depending on specifics of enterprises and audiences in a format from 1 to 3 days and covers all issues related to building a stable functioning production management system at the enterprise, which is based on the operational production management system. It's just like one of ways to develop and form your own competitive advantage. The book can be purchased on our website. The book is available for sale on all internet sites. Platforms for selling literature. You can simply contact us directly. We will make every effort to bring you this book. Deliver therefore with pleasure. We will read and listen to your reviews, feedback on what you emphasized, what is missing, what needs to be added, what needs to be expanded, what is clear, what is not, what is unclear, and we will be grateful for any feedback. Well, since we are mainly in practice, we are always ready to implement everything that is described in this book from beginning to end. At your enterprise, we are ready to build the entire process from writing regulatory documents to installing automated control systems completely in such a way, so that everything that we have in this book is written out, so that all this turns into your reality and becomes your strategic advantage. But be prepared that this process, not very fast. This usually takes from 5 to 7 years. This is such a transformation. Thank you for your attention, colleagues. We look forward to your feedback on the book. Contact us if you have any questions, right? We will always be happy to answer you. Thank you. Subtitles made by Dima Torzak.